Hello everybody and welcome. I'm NegPrimer. And we are back streaming Knights of the Old Republic once again. As long as I am sure. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump back into it. And I auto-saved here. So I actually have quite a bit to do of cleaning up, let's call it. But let's talk to everybody.
Hey there, what can I do?
What do you think about this
Well,
planet?
I know Zalbar's from Kashyyyk, but he never liked... Sorry I can't be more help.
So we've already been through
Okay.
this planet. We are on Kashyyyk, and we are about to we're about to leave and move on to the next planet. So I kind of unequipped all of my weapons last time, but I do want to go through and give everybody kind of their unique stuff. The big thing here is there's probably a lot of companions here that I'm not going to use. Hello, Sasha. We still need to figure out what to do with you. Let's actually go talk to Canderous and see what he has to say.
Yeah, what do you want?
Any more war stories?
I was one of the best youth warriors in the clan Ordo in my time. No one before me had mastered the power of our basilisk war droids as quickly as I had. Except Mandalore himself, of course. In those days, we were sweeping across the Outer Rim, destroying all who fought us. Young Mandalores would prove themselves in real combat with unknown opponents above 1,000 worlds. Each brought back stories of his achievements.
Okay.
I remember it well, orbiting high above a placid world, its defenses just stirring. As was tradition, I would go ahead of the first wave to find enemies in the thickest fighting. I remember sitting there in my armor, linked directly with the basilisk thrumming beneath me, my heart racing with fear of the coming battle.
Mandalorians are afraid.
Every new warrior has to fear to understand how to beat it. You must know that. The doors opened in front of me, and the air was sucked out of the drop bay, scattering crystals of frozen vapor across my path. I can't describe what it feels like to look directly down at a world, falling continuously as you circle it, with barely 15 centimeters of armor plate protecting you. When the magnetic locks disengaged on my droid, I plunged out of the drop bay towards the battle that waited below.
You dropped from orbit riding a droid?
The exhilaration, the euphoria I felt as I streaked into the atmosphere, dodging self-guided projectiles and beam weapons, was unmatched. An 80-kilometer plunge through the atmosphere, dodging and weaving, the outside of my armor glowing like the sun with the heat of re-entry. And with barely 30 meters to spare, I twisted and skimmed the surface, firing at the giant beam generators that were in my path. The explosion from that sent shock waves that leveled the entire complex around it. It was the moment of my life.
That's some kind of fight.
I'll never forget those times. But things are different now. We can't go on fighting the way we did. There are too few of us left now. But I really don't want to talk about this anymore. I trust I've satisfied your curiosity for now. Is there something else you want to know? It has big trees, in case your eyes don't work anymore. But I do know that there is one exceptional race on this world. The Wookiees. The Wookiees, although primitive compared to us,
So I guess I didn't
surprisingly
talk to
capable
everybody.
warriors. They're strong and pick up combat technique. I think they're more than a match for the
When I
average
left.
Republic or Sith trooper. When we were looking for targets, we considered this world carefully. We were wondering if we'd have to use larger weapons than our war droids if we wanted to clear the damn forest so we could fight in the open. Too many trees means they can go into hiding too easy. And what's a continent or two turned to glass if we get the whole world after? You have anything else you want to ask?
Yeah, so,
You want another war story, huh? You want to hear about some other world getting wasted, eh? I knew you were the type. Your stagnant republic has never seen some of the strange creatures and races we fought on the Outer Rim in those years. And you never will now.
what do you mean?
If a world isn't strong enough to defend itself, it's basically forfeit. But this story is about something a little different. We were going through the asteroid fields of the Crispin system at the very edge of the galaxy, playing with the pirates and smugglers we found there. The main belt in the Crispin system consists of mainly small rocks covered in frozen methane gas shells, and the pirates were using them for cover. Ha! I remember using a thermal generator to cause the outer layer of one of the asteroids to vaporize in a picosecond. It blew out and shredded the 3 smugglers using it for cover. But that was a mistake.
What happened?
The asteroid I had targeted was smaller than most, maybe a dozen meters on the side. On the outside, it looked the same as any other, just a ball covered in frozen gas. But something must have been inside it, something inactive in the cold. The heat of my blast might have triggered something or woken something up. After I'd hit it, spots of light and heat appeared all over the thin shell, still covering it, evaporating the gases. What lay underneath looked like some sort of rocky growth. A deformed rock, pitted by scores of micrometeorite scars. I think something even older might have been inside that.
An asteroid?
Maybe, but maybe not. It started rotating faster and faster as we watched it. After a second, it started spraying fire, thermal projectiles that melted our armor like wax. We were caught completely by surprise. Before we could counterattack, it fled at an incredible speed.
So it was a ship.
We couldn't catch it, but we could follow its hyperspace wake. We followed its trail as far as we could, heading away from the galactic core. When it finally led beyond the edge of our galaxy, we abandoned our efforts. Anything that wants to commit suicide in that great void is not worth our trouble trying to catch. That's the only story I have for now. I'll tell you some more stuff later if we get the chance. Is there something else you want to know?
Okay, so...
Hey, don't... There any...
Let's see if he has
I don't
anything
have
else
as many
to say.
strange stories like the last one I told you, but I do have a couple about me and the stuff I've done. In one battle above the world of Althir, my unit managed to defeat a force of Althiri 10 times our own size. That battle gained me command of an entire subsect of my clan.
Okay, so before we go more into this story, that last story, I'm trying to remember if they ever actually came out. I shouldn't say trying to remember, I should have looked up or whatever, but the theory for a while there was that he was talking about the Yuzon Vong, that ship that looked like an asteroid that that shot like lava at them that just melted their ships. The theory is that that's the Yuzon Vong. That's some sort of Yuzon Vong scout or whatever. The Yuzon Vong appeared in the expanded universe in a bunch of books that take place 20 or 30 years after the original trilogy. And what they are is they are a group of people they're a group of aliens that come from outside the solar system, or the galaxy, not the solar system, come from outside the galaxy, are immune to the Force, basically, and have bioorganic weaponry. And they view like pain as a good thing and sacrifice and stuff like that. And so it was a big event. I think it was like 20 books or something like that. It was actually a pretty interesting concept. That's really the last thing in the expanded universe I read. I know they kept going after that, but I was just kind of... the rest of the stuff after that seemed to kind of go away. But okay, so here we're talking about his units on Althiri defeating a force 10 times it's 10 times their size.
For 5 days, they had managed to hold off our forces, keeping us to the outer rings of their world, preventing us from attacking it directly. My task was to assault one of their flanks with a false attack. The Althiri would be drawn out by the units I had sent in. Once they had surrounded those units, the bulk of my forces would attack from the rear and defeat them in detail. Things didn't go as I had planned. I saw an opening, a mistake they had made in the disposition of their forces, and took it. While fending off our main force, they had let their fleet split in two. The center of their entire fleet was left exposed. I turned my forces and assaulted the center of their fleet, decimating them.
You were a great warrior.
Their slow, ponderous ship could not turn to face us without being overwhelmed. The command vessels were destroyed in seconds. Their ranks were thrown into chaos. It was amusing to watch the surviving ships scatter and flee. Several even tried to dive through the plane of the rings to escape us. They were shredded by the rings, or crashed into rocks, or were destroyed by our forces as we pursued them. Warriors do not flee from a battle if they are losing. They fight to the end, as we did against your Jedi Revan. Another time, maybe, I'll tell you about how the war with the Republic went. For now, let's just get on with things. Is there something else you want to know? Your choice.
Okay.
Yeah, what do you want?
What do you think about our stowaway?
What? You think I don't have something better to do?
Okay. So, for those that aren't really kind of getting the message with Canderous here, he's actually a Mandalorian. He is, basically he is kind of like Jango Fett or Boba Fett or whatever. He's part of an organization that they sprung from or whatever. But he actually is part of a military of them, and they launched a war against the Republic 5 years ago or whatever, in which they were completely decimated, and now he's here with us. But we actually got this new guy here that we haven't really taken the time to talk to, so let's talk to him now.
Got something on your mind, dude?
What do you know about this place?
Oh, I know plenty about Kashyyyk. You think someone doesn't live here for 20 years and pick up a thing or two? Chances are, by the time I finish telling you about it all, you would have found out for yourself. So there's no reason for me to start blathering on. It should be enough for me to tell you that there's kilometer after kilometer of trees on this planet. The deeper you go, the more dangerous it gets. If you're smart, you stay on top with the Wookiees. You go deep, however.
The what?
And you may find some things you weren't expecting. And that's about all I got to say about that. Now, let's get going.
Okay.
Oh, I get it. Let's play with the old man's head, is it? He's half senile. He'll forget I said anything. Wait, what was this about anyway?
Ah, Jolie.
Got something on your mind, dude?
I'm glad I picked up Jolie. He can make healing
I
kits.
suppose I could whip up something, a few herbs and such. You do know that the best alternative is not to get hurt, right? Well, not to say that you go leaping into the path of blaster fire or anything, but I know how you young people get. Here, take it.
Thanks.
Got something on your mind? How many could you pass?
He doesn't want to make more for me. This is kind of the interesting thing, is if you're running low on different supplies, you can get different crewmates to make them for you. So you can actually just keep like selling them, and then make a bunch of money that way, but I'm not sure what the limitations there are. Let's see, does he have any advice on the stowaway?
Stop bothering me with your questions. I can barely hear myself think.
Okay.
Got something on...
So Julie, you might have noticed, he's a little bit,
Oh, I get it.
I mean, he says right there he's half senile. It's hard to tell how much he's joking around and how much is actually supposed to be a thing. I don't think T3 ever has anything to say. I don't think that ever changes. But, see, since we're leaving Kashyyyk, Zalbar here had a lot to say. Had a lot just happen. So let's see what he has to say now. So many things have changed on Kashyyyk, I'm not sure what my place is. I must learn more about you outsiders. When I know enough, I understand how to best serve my people. I will travel with eyes open this time. But I leave with good feelings. My father will do what is right until I can return, and I will when my life debt is paid. So, isn't the whole premise of the life debt that it's not paid until I'm dead? Okay, do you have anything... Well, can you help me with any problems? Yeah, okay, that hasn't changed. What do you have to say about yourself, Zalbar? You've seen more than I would have allowed and taught me some things too. I am grateful for that. It'll be a while before I know what my role will be in making Kashyyyk truly free. I have a lot to learn. Why'd you request to take Baka's sword? Not really sure I know. Father expects much of me, I guess I do as well. I think when I've learned enough, I'll bring it back to Kashyyyk. When that happens, we'll see. I'm sorry we can't stay here longer. You and I have important things to do, and I feel bad leaving. I don't feel bad leaving this time. I know I'll be welcomed back. Okay, let's get going. Gianni?
How may I be of assistance to you, Padawan?
Anything to say about our stowaway?
I do not know how to help.
No?
How
Okay.
may I be?
Let's talk.
What is it you...
Tell me more about your past.
I suppose I have not talked very much about the Jedi I met back home. They... all of them were so very... invigorating.
Invigorating.
They were so very alive. So full of hope and energy and zeal. In retrospect, I can see it was a little bit tragic.
What do you mean?
Those Jedi were going to fight the Mandalorians just after they had invaded. Many of those Jedi perished in the fighting, but to us, they seemed invincible. Especially their leader, who they talked about all the time. Paragons of light and justice, sweeping away all iniquity before them. It was like looking at gods.
The Jedi are not gods.
I know that. I was using poetic license. But those Jedi, they were enthralling. Everyone wanted just to touch them. Some people thought it would bring them luck. Not that the peace they brought lasted very long.
What happened?
The Jedi left. The people grew complacent. Those who had been wronged saw their chance at revenge. And so the cycle continues. The oppressed become the new generation of oppressors. The human oppressed, that is. The non-humans were never treated well in any case. We felt the brunt of both administrations.
Oh. Was it that bad?
Of course it was. They took their frustrations and hate out on us because the people they wanted had already fled or were too well protected. But no one looks out for the injustices we suffered. Oh no, but I am sorry. I should not have outbursts like that.
Yeah, just don't let your anger influence you.
Don't you see? The very fact I mentioned it means it has its influence. Anger can lead to the dark side, and I must be ever careful that I do not fall back into those ways. I thank you for your support. My outburst was uncalled for, but you did not lash back at me. You are a much better Jedi than I, it would seem. But let us not speak more of this now. We should continue on our journey. Perhaps later we will talk again.
So this is why I like Jolie a lot, is he's a gray Jedi, and he sees,
Yes.
he sees more shades of gray. Is something wrong?
I have been bothered by something of late.
Okay.
I
What is
never
it?
told you where I came from, did I? Where I grew up as a child? I suppose I was trying to deny what I was feeling.
Like, are you hitting on me? What?
I have been wrestling with my feelings inside, trying to come to terms with it, but I find I cannot. I must have someone to blame. Someone to blame for the destruction of my homeworld. Someone who is responsible for the death of everyone I have ever known, except those on Dantooine.
You mean...
Taris. It was Taris that the Sith destroyed to try to kill you and your precious Bastilla. Taris, my homeworld.
That's not really our fault. I'm sorry, Gianni, I did not know.
If it were not for you and Bastilla, the Sith would have never had reason to destroy that world. It was your fault for being there, and your fault for rescuing Bastilla.
Well...
Without your intervention, the Sith would have had no cause to lay waste to my childhood.
It's... But...
Just let me vent my anger. I need someone to blame. Something. Anything. I hated that world. Yet everything I learned as a child, I learned there. It is as much a part of me as the air I breathe. I have this ache inside me, where all my childhood memories lay, and I find your face there with them. If it was not for you, that world would still exist.
Yeah, there really wasn't any way to prevent it.
I suppose I realized that. But it is so hard to lose your entire past. You would not understand.
There's not really any way we could have predicted they would destroy the entire planet. You'll be alright.
Yes. Yes, I suppose it will. As long as we remain focused on our task, it will. I am sorry. I will try not to distract you in the future with my trivial experiences. We should stop for now.
Trivial. Okay. And then we got Bastila and Karth up here.
How can I help?
Any thoughts about the stowaway?
I'm confident that you can...
No?
How can I help?
I like that nobody has any opinion at all on the fact that a little girl is running around our ship. Did you wish to talk to me?
I do. I've been watching you, studying you closely to see what kind of progress you've made since your training at the hands of Master Zahar.
I think we both know the real reason you've been watching me.
You never give up, do you? I admit, I'm interested in you. I find you intriguing, compelling even, but it's not what you think. You have a great gift. You have an awesome command of the Force, and I tremble when I think of how you might misuse it.
I don't think that's the only thing that makes you tremble. Do you get all tingly inside, too?
What? No, of course not. Not like that, anyway. In many ways, you
I like how, like,
you
almost
are dangerous.
childish our
you
flirtation
could be the savior of
is.
the galaxy, or you could bring untold destruction upon us all. I've seen how you've resisted many temptations and continue to walk the path of the light side. Very commendable. But I'm afraid you might stray from this path. You need to see what the dark side represents in its entirety, for it is what we battle. Only the wisdom of a Jedi Master can truly explain this, but I will do my best to make you understand.
What are you trying to tell me?
The dark side is not simply giving in to anger, temptation, or to use the Force to destructive ends. These things only lead to the dark side. The dark side grows stronger and more insidious the closer you draw to it. It begs you to surrender to it, to release all its terrible power, and it becomes harder and harder to resist. And once you stop resisting, it's too late. It twists you up inside and turns you into a mockery of everything you once stood for.
You seem to know temptation very
I
well.
am no less resistant to temptation than any other. I simply have the benefit of training that you do not. But even the training of the Jedi might not be enough to save us. We need only to look at the atrocities which have been committed by those under its sway to understand the terrible, corrupting evil of the dark side. Millions dead, and far more suffering. What sort of person would you have to become to perform such deeds gladly?
Yeah, I couldn't really see myself doing that.
That is why the dark side is so insidious. If you are not careful, you do not even see each small step you take towards it until it's too late. It's so easy to think that we would never fall prey to such a horror, that we have unlimited control, vigilance, and foresight. If only that were true. The Sith have become powerful because there are many Jedi who succumbed to the lure of the dark side and joined their cause. What greater weapon is there than to turn an enemy to your cause, to use their own knowledge against them? We are weakened while they are strengthened, so we must harden our hearts and do whatever is required to fight against the dark side, even when the battle becomes wearying.
Do whatever is required, such as...
I don't know. The vision of our future is clouded by shadows cast from the dark side, but I sense something ominous lurking in those shadows. But words alone cannot save one from the dark side. Come, we should continue with the task at hand. When the time comes, I only hope we are all strong enough to do what we must.
Okay.
How can I help?
What else you gotta say? Nope,
Then I
nothing? Okay. So there's actually like a factual basis for that whole concept. That humans in general are pretty susceptible to committing pretty horrible things. I mean, just look at the Nazis, and it's really simple to just say, oh, they were really horrible people, but a lot of the times they were just normal people. They actually, a lot of them thought they were actually doing the right thing, and a lot of them weren't even doing. Let's dissociate Nazis from the German people here, but a lot of the people that were involved in World War II and a lot of the bad things that were being done there were just kind of normal people that didn't think they were doing anything like particularly racist or anything like that, or anti-Semitic for that matter, and they were wrong. They were horribly, horribly wrong.
Yes, what's on your mind?
And they committed very horrible things. Okay, we didn't end our last discussion very well.
I'm not very good at this. I know I owe you an apology. More than one, probably. I was just so desperate to finally face Saul directly in the battle over Terrace. And now the Jedi have us looking for these star maps. I know this mission is important, it's just, I feel a bit useless. I mean, I can fight, sure, but I'm no Jedi. All this feels completely out of my league.
Alright, how does that excuse your actions?
It doesn't, I know. It's been a while since I've even had to think about that sort of thing. I just hate not knowing what's going on and feeling this helpless. But I shouldn't have taken that out on you. I've been a royal pain in the backside, haven't I?
Yeah? Don't worry about it, Kurt.
No, I do worry about it. I've traveled the lanes more than once. I should know better than this. So, I'm sorry. Will you accept my apology?
Yes, asshole. Only if you agree to work with me.
Done. Let's get underway then, shall we, partner?
I don't know why we didn't...
Yes, what's on your mind?
Any advice on the stowaway?
Sorry, can't be much...
You know...
Yes, what's on your mind?
You'd think anybody would have any form of opinion about an underage girl running around our ship. Do you know anything about this place?
It's covered by a giant forest. Well, that's all.
Okay.
You got it.
Alright, so now we've talked to everybody on our ship. We actually are gonna go back and do... not to Tatooine. We're gonna travel back to Dantooine. We kind of rushed through this planet to try to pick up Jolie as quickly as possible, and frankly, actually to pick up Juhani or anyone else really quickly as well. Okay, so we're gonna have another take on a bunch of, I don't know what these ships are called, but they're basically TIE fighters.
Incoming fire!
directly into the sun. Well, it actually worked. So yeah, we're 30 minutes into this and we're just now getting somewhere. There's a lot of talking in this game, obviously. Okay, and then we're back on Dantooine. Look at that vista. Vista literally means view. I'm not really entirely sure why people took to referring to it as a vista instead of a view. They just wanted to be fancy, I guess. Actually, you know what? Now that we've done that...
Got something on you?
Oh look, I have questions. Let's ask him if he knows anything about this place.
It's a ship. To be more specific, it's your ship. You tell me, and that's about all. Oh.
Okay. I thought he might have something interesting to say about Dantooine since there's a Jedi Council here. But we do want to take Jolie with us. And we're actually going to take T3M4 with us as well. And actually, dang it, seriously? I can't back out of that? Ah, who's got stuff to say?
Excuse me, have you seen a mechanic about? Short fellow, bald, I've been looking...
Well, I'll be a Wookiee's uncle. Davin? Davin Coaches?
Jolie? Jolie Pinto? Why, you old freak. Last time I saw you, you were still wandering the galaxy in that old tug. I thought you were dead, old man.
I crashed somewhere and decided to stay.
Yeah, I'll just bet. Damn, old man, you look exactly the same as the last time I saw you. You pickle well.
You're too
Back don't
kind.
crack.
Not the young lad anymore yourself, I see.
Care to introduce him?
What are you, deaf? His name's Davin. Old friend from my wanderer days. By the by, Davin, I really should be running off.
Of course, old man. Oh, wait. If you've been traveling in this sector, I suppose you heard about Sunry?
No, why? What's there to hear?
He's been picked up by the Selkath authorities on Manan.
Manan?
For murder.
That's preposterous.
I know. Laura is beside herself, as you can imagine. Maybe you could help them. I'm sure Sunray would appreciate a Jedi's assistance right about now.
Perhaps I will at that. It's up to my friend here, actually. I'm just tagging along.
Okay, we can check in on it.
I'd appreciate that. Sunry's an old friend. I'd hate to see him hurt.
Same here. Well, it was good to see you again. Give my regards to Alora if you see her.
I will. Be safe, old friend.
We'll be going to Manan. It's interesting the amount of just random people we're running into on the in the Jedi Academy here. So Jolie remains a mysterious character. Maybe you should speak to him.
Got something on your mind?
Okay. Why'd you decide to come with me?
You got yourself a fast little ship. I forgot what engine sounded like. The closest thing to that on Kashyyyk is an Uller in mating season. Oh, frightful.
An Uller? So you wanted a ride on my ship?
Or it could be for the free food. What's the gunk that comes out of a synthesizer on this bucket anyway? Do you never clean the darn thing?
Come on. Stop messing around.
I'm old, damn it. I'm allowed to be enigmatic when I want to be. And don't you go telling me otherwise. You know, you remind me of someone else I knew ages ago. Pleasant enough fellow, great destiny, all of that. Breath like a bantha.
Is that a comment on my breath?
No, but it could be. An Anduvian salt tablet would clear that right up, you know. Anyway, where was I? Oh, yes. Andor Vex was his name. The Force swirled around him like a hurricane. That's how great his destiny was.
I haven't ever heard of him.
No, you wouldn't have. Sometimes swirling force is just swirling force. It gets us old Jedis excited at our age, so we go, ooh, destiny. Well, it turned out that poor Andor believed a wee bit too much in the infallibility of that destiny. That overconfidence turned out to be his downfall.
Okay. What's the hidden meaning?
I don't know. Are you overconfident? I hadn't noticed. Even if I had, I would never comment on it. We're talking about Andor, remember? Let's see. Oh yes, Andor's downfall. I was pretty young myself when it happened. At the time, I thought that Andor's destiny couldn't be more boring.
Alright. How young are we talking?
Well, let's just say that I was a strapping young lad with a full head of hair, and Coruscant was a small town with a well. I was just about to abandon Andor to whatever the Force intended for him when his ship was overtaken by a Dimian warship. Now, you've probably never heard of the Dimians, but at the time they were a nasty lot led by a nastier overlord named Krat. Tall fellow, big teeth. Krat has us hauled onto the bridge of his ship for questioning, and that's when I knew that Andor's destiny was at hand.
Andor killed Krat?
Of course he did. Haven't you been listening? It was not in the way you'd probably expect, though. Well, Andor decides that his destiny makes him invulnerable and starts making all sorts of demands. Free me now. I'm not answering questions. Blah, blah, blah. Don't you know who I am? Krat decides he's had enough and begins crushing Andor's neck. I told the boy he should have kept his mouth shut. I think he agreed, too. Or could have just been gurgling noises. Well, anyway. Finally, Krat has enough of Andor and tosses him aside into this giant energy intake shaft. Andor gets sucked in and starts bouncing around, screaming. Maybe Andor hit something sensitive on the way down, or just didn't agree with the reactor core. Next thing I know, all the ship's alarms are ringing.
You're kidding.
Everyone panics, and I run, barely making it to the ship in time before the explosion. Krat dies horribly, and the Dimians never quite recovered. Changed the political course of the entire sector for centuries to come. I'd call that quite a destiny, wouldn't you?
Like, top choice is just, I hate you, old man. How do you even know that Andor was responsible?
Are you kidding? What are the odds of that happening anyway? 1,000,000,000 to 1? You should do so well as to be sucked into the engine of some evil Sith Lord, you know. Andor was a hero. Sort of. Anyway, go on. My throat is dry and you're making me cranky. Shoo!
Just realizing, holy cow. Sorry, I have a pile of business cards right next to my computer. I'm just realizing how many I have that I have not yet organized in any capacity. And it's quite a stack. Sorry, completely aside from what we're doing at hand. What I was trying to do is go back on here because I didn't ever finish going through my crew list and making sure that they have their weapons equipped. And I might as well at least get them dressed up a bit. I don't think that there's any other point for the remainder of this game that we will have any squad mate of ours disabled from us. So we should be able to pick But part of the reason I'm doing this is, well, actually, we don't even have to do that. Let's just not sell any unique weapons. I gotta try to figure out what I want to do. If I'm gonna just go around the game with these three. We still have one more crew member to pick up, but I know for I shouldn't say I know for a fact. I'm pretty dang sure that I'm pretty sure that there's no dialogue that last character has on this planet. Jeez, you are talking a lot. We've already talked to you, too. What do you have for sale? So he has a bunch of stuff to sell. I already bought a bunch from him. But then I can sell stuff to him, too. So let's sell some of this stuff off. Let's hold on to some of these. Long sword. Let's hold on to kind of the more unique stuff. At least for now. If we get to a point where it's like, okay, we need... Let's also hold on to lightsabers and lightsaber crystals. If we get to the point where we need money... Lots of heavy blasters. Yeah, let's sell that. Let's sell these Mandalorian Rippers. Sell these random bowcasters. See, look at how much money. We're already at 13,000. There are some pieces of armor and such that do cost a lot of money, but I don't think we're really going to be hurting much for money. Ah. Lots of grenades, that's fine. Actually, the Circlet of Sarish we should probably just put on somebody. And then we get all these like data pads and everything like that that aren't worth anything. I guess this data pad. Oh, Kalinord's data pad is worth a couple bucks, but that's it. I think we're good for now. I'm not particularly concerned. We don't always, kind of the interesting thing about this game is you don't have to have the latest and greatest. But also, I think it was actually this guy who was looking for a little girl. His daughter was kidnapped by raiders. Her name is Sasha. There's a stowaway on my ship named Sasha. Are you certain of this? She speaks only a smattering of Mandalorian, but I was able to figure it out. Would you allow me to see her? I'll bring you on my ship. Though you've aged, I believe you're the one I seek. I'm here to return you to your father. I think your parents can actually teach you how to speak English. Calm yourself, child, I'll take you home. And then we can speak gibberish back to her. And basically we're saying this ship isn't her home. Yada, 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 yada. Okay. So we took care of our little stowaway problem. I have to exit again. Apparently I could have just turned that in. So this is pretty crazy. There must be like something triggering a bunch of events right outside of the ship here. And that's why it keeps happening. Okay, let's speak to Julie. You never actually did say why you decided to come with me.
Oh, I never did I?
Are you always going to be this elusive?
Elusive? Me elusive? Obviously, you've never tried to grab a Twi'lek dancing girl after drinking too much Onderan Willick juice. At any rate, I already told you why I wanted to leave. I'd seen everything I wanted to on Kashyyyk. Time to go. Time to move on.
Move on to where?
To bed. I'm old and tired, you know.
Nah, really.
How many kilometer-high trees can you find an interest in before you figure you've had enough? I'd bet you can't be bothered to stay in one room for more than 15 minutes. And then there's all the critters and the Shadowlands. I'm just happy to be back in space, doing something new. Is that too much to ask?
You could have done it on your own.
So I could. Well, not having a ship does tend to put a damper on that kind of idea, however. I'll admit, for all its flaws, Kashyyyk was home enough. But when you came along and I saw the destiny you had before you, I couldn't help but be intrigued.
Okay, what's my destiny?
Of course not. Weren't you listening last time? I can see that you have a destiny before you, but the details are far from clear. In fact, everything about you that I can see is odd. Slightly off, as if my eyes are trying to trick me. Something is very dark about you. But, I'm sure you don't need to hear my ruminations. You've probably got enough nosy Jedi offering you one opinion after another to make you sick.
Come on. Tell me more of what you see.
Your future will come of its own accord, trust me. Sometimes navel-gazing at it doesn't get you anywhere. I wouldn't worry about it too much if I were you. You remind me a bit of Nomi. That can't be all bad.
Nomi, huh?
Nomi, Sunrider. She came late to the Force, just as you have, and became one of the greatest Jedi ever. Oh, fine, fine lass. Whether you'll follow the same path remains to be seen. For one thing, we'll never get anywhere if you stand around chatting up old men all day.
I don't bring you along for your amusement, you know. No, let's, you're along as some kind of observer.
Nonsense. Have I ever refused to help you when you asked? How confused can one person be anyway? One thing I will say is that this little escapade does remind me a bit of my adventuring days before the war. Those were exciting times. Or at least it would remind me of those times if we didn't stand around. What's keeping you? You're too young to be so talkative. Shoo! Shoo!
Okay. So as you can see, we leveled up. We have the ability here to level up both Jolie and R4. Let's talk to this guy. I've killed a Terrantech. Galaxy's a better place. Every one of those creatures an abomination. You've done well. Do not let your success blind you to their danger. Okay. Yeah, on Kashyyyk we came across the Terrantech. So let's talk to Belaya
Master
here.
Jar tells me you have successfully completed the tests. And I even see you have constructed your own lightsaber. You should be proud of your accomplishment. But never forget that you still have much to learn. As your power grows, you will constantly face temptations to slip to the dark side. This is the eternal struggle of the Jedi.
So I don't think we talked to her before we left, after we rescued Johnny. Let's, I kind of want to bring Jolie in here to talk to these Jedi Masters and see if they even acknowledge his presence.
Padawan, I must speak with you. You are now one of the Jedi.
We also
an
haven't
order
gone
with a
through all their
long and
dialogue.
glorious past. A past we should all be aware of. As a chronicler of the Academy here on Dantooine, I feel it is my duty to share the history of our order with the newly initiated. Unfortunately, our recent history is one of tragedy and bloodshed. The Mandalorian Wars, the fall of Revan and Malak, the rise of the Sith. There are important lessons to be learned from these events, if we do not wish to repeat the mistakes of our past.
Alright, I'm eager to learn.
Of course, I could not tell you the entire history of our order. The Jedi have existed for thousands upon thousands of years. We are as old as the Republic itself. Instead, I will begin 40 years ago with the War of Exar Kun. Like Malak and Revan, Exar Kun was a Jedi who fell to the dark side and led an army against the Jedi and the Republic. Exar Kun was defeated, but the war left both the Republic and our own order severely weakened. For 20 years we struggled to rebuild, trying to erase the scars of the terrible conflict.
Alright, so Exar Kun, what does that have to do with the Mandalorian Wars?
20 years ago, the Mandalorians, aware that the Republic was in a weakened state, began conquering small worlds on the Outer Rim. They were careful to choose only planets outside the Republic's jurisdiction. After much debate, the Senate chose not to intervene. As long as the Mandalorians avoided planets that were members of the Republic itself, there would be no retaliation.
Just like that, huh? Yeah, it seems like a mistake.
Well, you can hardly blame the Republic. The memory of war was fresh in everyone's mind. Nobody was eager to relive the horrors in a campaign against the Mandalorians. But in the end, it was unavoidable. The Mandalorians stockpiled resources from their conquered worlds, preparing for a massive assault. 7 years ago, they launched a simultaneous attack in 3 separate sectors of Republic space. The Senate had no choice but to retaliate with the entire Republic fleet. The Mandalorian Wars had begun.
Okay, so the Jedi joined
The
in.
Republic petitioned the Jedi Council for aid, but there were many factors to consider before we allowed ourselves to be drawn into another conflict, so soon after the war with Exar Kun. While the Jedi Council preached patience, there were many among our order who were eager for us to join the battle. 2 young knights in particular demanded immediate action, Revan and Malak. They rallied many of the Jedi to their cause, and against the wishes of their masters, joined the Republic fleet battling the Mandalorians. Revan was a brilliant military leader, and the Republic fleet began to win victory after victory. 4 years ago, the Mandalorians surrendered unconditionally.
Unconditionally. So he did the right thing.
No one is denying that Revan was one of the keys to defeating the Mandalorians. But something happened out there on the Outer Rim. Instead of returning after the war's end, the ships under Revan's command went deep into unexplored space. They claimed to be searching for the last remnants of the Mandalorian fleet. All contact was lost. For many months, it was assumed some great disaster had befallen the entire fleet. Everyone thought they were dead. There were unsubstantiated rumors of Revan and Malak being seen on a number of different planets during these months. Scattered sightings that were never confirmed.
Alright, well,
Perhaps they simply went far beyond the edges of Republic space. Maybe they found previously undiscovered hyperspace routes to the ends of the galaxy. Nobody knows for certain. 3 years ago, Revan and Malak returned at the head of a massive invasion fleet. Revan had assumed the title of Sith Lord. The hero had become a conqueror.
where'd he get the ships? I guess we kind of know that because we know about the Starforge.
Some of the ships in the Sith fleet are those that were under Revan's command during the Mandalorian Wars. But many more are of an alien design we've never seen before. The source of this massive fleet is one of the many things about the Sith we cannot explain. It seems impossible to have created it in such a short time, yet we cannot deny its existence. The source of the Sith soldiers is unfortunately much easier to understand. Initially, the bulk of the force were former Republic soldiers who had served under Revan. With each conquest, thousands more flocked to join the invaders, swelling their numbers. Even many of our own order have betrayed us, lured by Sith promises of riches and power.
What happened next?
For 2 years, the Sith were all but invincible. Fortunately, Bastila and her battle meditation allowed the Republic to win a few key victories and kept the Sith from total triumph. In desperation, we set a trap for the Dark Lord. Bastila was with the strike team that tried to capture Revan, as you probably know. She was there at Revan's end. That was nearly a year ago, but things have not improved. Malak has stepped in and assumed the mantle of Dark Lord for himself, though he's far from Revan's equal in strategy or tactics. Still, his fleet continues to grow in both ships and soldiers. If we do not find some way to stop the Sith soon, Malak will overwhelm us with sheer numbers.
Alright, well, what can I learn from this?
Revan's tale shows us how even the greatest of Jedi can fall to the dark side. You must always be on guard against the evil that dwells within you. Think hard upon this lesson.
Alright, I'll think about
May
that.
the Force be with you. Greetings, young Padawan. As you should...
Okay. Well, where are the Academy's archives?
This facility is a training academy. The archives here are restricted to those who have attained the rank of Master. We must protect overeager Padawans from being exposed to dangerous knowledge. The pursuit of knowledge is a noble goal, but there are some things that require the wisdom of a master to truly understand. You should ponder the history of Revan. It contains many lessons you may need if we hope to defeat Malak and the Sith.
Okay, fine.
May the Force...
Alright,
You must not fail in your
Yoda.
mission. Find the star maps that lead to the star...
But beware that dark side. Bastila will guide you, but she herself is young and new to the ways of
The fate of the galaxy. May the Force...
If I'm a Padawan, shouldn't I have a master, like, with me?
I must congratulate you on your actions. You have saved Juhani and brought her back into...
Uh-huh, okay.
May the Force be with...
So it is kind of interesting that they don't comment on, you know, Jolie. You'd think they'd have something to say about that. Shaw. So we haven't, out of the time we spent here, we didn't ever go up this way. Okay, seriously? So let's see what's in these rooms. I can't explore that chest. Actually. Seasoned Pazak player. Care for a game? Do you have any cards to sell? Plus or minus 2. Plus or minus 4. Plus or minus 5. I think that'll be good. So that guy's a Pazak player. And these are all kind of empty. I'll play. So you can see our wager here is 120. And if we remove all these cards, plus 5, plus 4, plus 3, we'd have plus or minus of each group. We'd have, the problem is we're missing a plus or minus 2. But we do have switchable cards for everything now. It's worth trying to see if we could draw into that. Kind of like how we just drew into that. See, now we have the upper advantage. Because we're tied, and I have more cards, and I just got 20. Now I'm winning. Oh, I just drew into another 20. It's another 20. So, like I said, I can keep coming back and doing this. There's actually, we kind of skipped over it, or not really skipped over it, but we haven't gone there yet, but there's a high stakes gambler on a particular planet, and so, like I said, we're already not really hurting for money. If we get to a point where for some reason we are, then I'll come back to this guy, but for the moment there's no reason to.
How may I be of a...
Pretty sure we talked to him.
Have you found the Mandalorian? Please.
This guy wants us to go find a bunch of Mandalorian raiders. So we didn't, we ran right past these guys several times, so let's talk to them. Greetings, fellow sentients. I have noticed that you're not heavily armed, at least not heavily armed enough. Please allow me to introduce myself. I am Adam, a simple merchant with a noble purpose. Purpose? Purpose. Settlers and noble humans of Dantooine have been plagued by Cathan's raiders and other fearsome troubles of late. It is much, much too sad to see these happen to people such as these. Therefore I made it my mission to be. Mission. To overcome their obstacles. They must be able to defend themselves, therefore I shall offer the highest quality weapons at the lowest of low prices for them. I'm offering you much in the way of weaponry at low prices. How can any sentient pass up such a bargain? They cannot. Weaponry it is, and weaponry I have. What is it you'd like to buy for me this fine day? Let me see what you're selling. Senegar Warsuit, Cassus Fett's body armor. The armor Cassus Fett's, the most wanted man in space. Famous for killing a captain of a Republic flagship. At the Battle of Jagus Cluster, he is presumed dead. That's really the only particularly interesting thing you have. It is upgradable as well. We can't wear heavy armor yet, so let's not do that. And let's actually, before running away from this guy, he does have some, I can't ask him questions. I'll endeavor to be of service in whatever endeavor you are on. Okay, what about the Mandalorians? Plague must be cleansed with fire. Yeah, he's still just trying to upsell me. What about the Cathounds? Yep, okay. He's basically just saying, buy my weapons and you won't have to worry about them. So here's Elise.
Greetings, young Jedi. I wonder if you could assist me. I seem to have lost my companion, you see?
Your companion?
We were working on my farm to the north of here. I was working in the garden outside, and he was working inside. I heard the door to the house open, but not close. I went to see and found it wide open. I searched everywhere and could not find him. I worry so much. I need him back so badly. I wonder if could he have been kidnapped?
I mean, anything's possible.
Maybe it was the Mandalorians. Or maybe Cathounds. But no, Cathounds are not intelligent enough to open doors. Although they have been more vicious lately. No. It must have been someone who could open the door by himself. Come to think of it, the door was locked.
Well, if the door was locked, could someone have bypassed the lock?
The door was undamaged and showed no signs of tampering.
What about from the inside?
Well, yes, it could have, but he had no reason to run away. His programming...
Programming? Your missing companion is a droid?
Well, yes, he is a droid, but he is very valuable to me all the same. He's the last piece of my poor passed-away husband that I have left. He is very dear to me, my precious is. I don't know what I'd do without him.
Hey, look who's something to say. I understand you're concerned about him too, T3.
He's the only companionship I have on all of Dantooine.
So you live alone with this droid. What do you use him for?
He is a personal assistance droid. My husband was a genius at constructing droids. He made this one capable of taking care of me for the rest of my life. As the last legacy of my husband, for my own personal ease of mind, I need him back. His absence gnaws at me like a gaping wound. Please, I beg of you, return my droid to me.
Okay, I'll help you find him.
Thank you. Thank you, Master Jedi. If you find him, please send him home to me. I need him so much.
You're kind of creeping me out a little bit, lady. So we've run past here before, but you see these two, there's a pillar over here, there's a couple pillars over here. You can actually cut through there to go to the next area. But we're kind of zigzag our way to the back of this. You have weapons, right?
What?
So this should be fairly easy after we struggled a lot with Kashyyyk last week. Because we were supposed to come here at a lower level than we are. So back over there is again where the ruins were. So this is the Matali Grounds, is what this area is. So we've already been through here. Chase after him. See, there's like a radar dish and stuff over there. But we kind of just ran through here when we were on our way to get to Chitani. Oh hey, we all actually killed him. Dead settler. Cassis's diary. So let's look at our new items here. Cassis diary. Diary of Cassis Sandrol, amateur archaeologist. It details his effort to discover the source of the ancient ruins found across the surface of Dantooine. Upon reading it, you gather that he had found some correlation between the ruins and something called the Rack. R-A-K. Okay, we're gonna walk over into this corner just because the map. We need to get as much of the map uncovered as possible. But yeah, so we came by here before we were even really a Jedi. Some manta rays. It'd be interesting if there's, well, like one of the, we'd had to like fight one of those at some point or something. I wonder, it's such a weird thing. Do you think that like they already had a manta ray developed? And they're like, hey, let's not let it go to waste. They'd already made the model. So this is a whole big area here. This looks like this is the front door. Let's go around and see if there's like a back door. Or just in general, see if there's anything interesting back here. Nope. So, I've covered this in the past. I'm actually a game designer by trade. It is interesting. There's a guy out here. It is interesting that BioWare has never been particularly good at level design. Like, there's just kind of a lot of wasted space here. Alright, let's go see what this guy has to say.
This is private property. By what authority are you trespassing on this estate?
Okay. I come on behalf of the Jedi Council. I wish to speak to Alan Matale.
You have come from the Jedi Council. Master Matale wishes to speak with you. I will inform him that you are here. Remain at this location until he arrives.
So this was when we went to leave this planet, we were told about this whole scenario where the Matales and the
My protocol droid tells me you are here on behalf of the Council. I was beginning to think my demands had been ignored, though I think your time would be better spent interrogating the Sandrels as to the whereabouts of my son Shen.
Why do you think the Sandrels are to blame?
Many years ago, I brought my family here to Dantooine to escape the crush of humanity on the core worlds. Soon after we settled here, the Sandrels arrived, and they have been a plague upon my house ever since. The injustices the Sandrels have committed against the Matales are far too numerous to name. But the Council is well aware of our many disputes. Recently, I discovered several Sandrel droids trespassing on my land.
Okay. What were they doing?
I have no idea what nefarious purpose lay behind their arrival. My own assassination, perhaps? Destruction of my property? Maybe a simple spy mission? I wasn't about to find out. My own security droids destroyed the invaders. Not a single one survived.
I don't think the droids were frightened, T3.
It was shortly after this incident that Shen, my only son and heir to the Matale estate, vanished. Obviously, Nurik, the unscrupulous head of the Sandrel clan, has abducted my son in retaliation for the destruction of his droids.
Okay, I'll go talk to them.
The only resolution
is.
possible is the immediate return of my son. Why does the Council insist on stalling? The life of my son is at stake. Is it possible? Yes, of course. Now I understand. I am a man of the world, Jedi. I know how things are done. I will make a contribution of 1,000 credits to the Council in exchange for rescuing Shen from the Sandrels. I will present the credits directly to you, of course. Whether the Council ever learns of this donation
trying to bribe
is completely
me?
up to you.
I will remain neutral despite your attempted bribe.
Nevertheless, my offer still stands. 1,000 credits for Shen's safe return. Know, however, that I will not sit idly by much longer. Eventually, I will take whatever action is necessary to rescue my son, including raising the entire Sandrel estate. Until you find Shen, Jedi, we have nothing further to discuss. I suggest you hurry south to their estate, lest I take matters into my own hands.
You know, you have a Jedi here right now. You have two Jedi. You have two Jedi here right now. You're being kind of a tool. I'm not gonna lie. So there's an entrance over here as well. But I have to have a Matale pass card. So that journal we picked up, Cassandral. So we found a journal and presumably the body of a Cassandral, but Matali there didn't mention anything about a Cassandral. He said there were droids wandering around on his property, and they shot them, and now his son Shen has gone missing. So if that was Cassis, then presumably he might not even have the whole story. Hello. There's a bunch of guys up here. Duros Warrior. And some Mandalorians.
You've been holding out on us again. If you haven't given us enough money, I guess we're gonna have to take it out of you piece by piece.
No, please. Take my wife and children instead.
Whoa.
Anything.
Wife and children. Sounds like a good idea.
You know, there's a lot of just dangerous people on this planet. Not even on this planet, just in general. Like everywhere I go in this galaxy, just ridiculous people. There's some remains over here. Some more pillars over here, going off to a different area, to the Grove. So the Grove is where we ran into Juhani, but we're going to be at the opposite side of where we were before. It's interesting. I wonder if at some point they were hoping to open this up to another area. There we go. Because it does look like a real pathway there. There's a couple places where it has that, and it makes you wonder if they didn't cut out a lot of content that they had planned. There's more pillars over here. Force pushes the force ability out to use attacks. Not this again! Sandral grounds are in the next section, okay. See, yeah, we fought Juhani over here. Hello, there's like a Twi'lek over here. Baluk. Your arrival here is well timed, Padawan. Who you? Baluk, a Jedi from the Enclave. I was sent by the Jedi Council to investigate a killing that took place a few hours ago. Communication does not pose a problem, as both the subjects and I speak basic and Huttese. Gonna handle it myself, but now that you're here, I think it would be an excellent opportunity for you to demonstrate how well you've been learning your lessons at the Academy. Though you're not yet a full Jedi, perhaps you could assist me in sorting out the truth from the lies. Alright, what do you want me to do? Listen to the stories given by the two suspects. I've brought an information retrieval droid to access the archives of both the Jedi Enclave and Planetary Capital. I will use my wisdom and experience to offer you some guidance, but I will not solve the case for you. There's little benefit if you do not solve the problem yourself. Consider each man's account and check the facts in his information droid. Once you have gathered all the evidence you think you need, run through the possible scenario with me. If you are unable to come to a satisfactory resolution, then I will take these men to the Enclave and deal with it myself. You son of a bitch. According to the accounts of the participants, these three men were out here in the field earlier today before the clouds broke. Very odd, for most people would seek shelter indoors when the skies fell into storm clouds as it was earlier today, but that is not the most puzzling aspect of the case. Dead man, Calderon Nedick, was shot in the back with a blaster rifle. A rifle was found lying near his body with bloodstains on it. Two of the men were found at the scene when I arrived. One was Haddon Gold, who is unarmed. The other was Rickard Lusoff, who was carrying a hunting laser. Both men said they did not do anything, and that they came across the body, but both also accused the other. Obviously, there's more to this than what we have been told. Anything else I should know? Haddon was holding his side when I arrived, and Rickard was favoring one of his legs. You do well to remember this as we progress through the case. Anything else you need, I'll remain here while you question the witnesses. Okay, so let's start by seeing what information the droid has.
Master Baluk has enlisted to help you. I am an information retrieval droid. I can assist you by accessing the records of both the Jedi Enclave and the central government facilities here on Dantooine. If you have any need of my services, please do not hesitate to talk to me. I have already retrieved some information from the archives on Calder Nedick, Rickard Lusoff, and Haddon Gould. I have also had time to examine the body of Mr. Nedick. Is there any information you require?
What'd you find out about the body?
My preliminary analysis of the body indicates that he was killed approximately 3 hours ago by a single energy blast to the torso. Is there any other information you need?
Okay. Tell me about the plains.
These plains are rife with wild animals, not all of them benign. The Iriars are mostly docile, but can easily be provoked to violence. Calf hounds, on the other hand, are much more deadly. There have been over 35 catalogued attacks on settlers by calf hounds in the last 2 weeks. A general advisory was given out 3 days ago to carry a weapon at all times when on the plains. Small farms and holdings dot the plains and can provide safe refuge for those in need. Is there any other information you need?
Okay.
Very well. I will be here.
Alright, so that's all the information he has. Let's go ahead and talk to Haddon. Andrew Rickard. Talk to Haddon first.
You must be assisting Master Baluk in his investigation. I'm Haddon Gould. Perhaps you've heard of me?
Should I have?
I guess under the circumstances, no. Well, I presume you wish to hear my story, then. I shall tell you, of course, but there's not much to it. I'm sure that you'll agree that Rickard is quite obviously guilty of murder. You see, I was out here running earlier today. Yes, running. I do that a lot. Can't stand speeders, never use them. Keeps me in shape, too, you know. Anyway, I was out running on the other side of that bridge there, and all of a sudden I heard a shot coming from over here. I ran over and found this man Calder lying on the ground, dead.
Did you see the killer?
I saw Rickard come skulking out of the shadows of the rocks south of the river. I knew something was wrong. I hit my emergency button and called the Enclave right away. Well, there. That's my story. Now, please hurry this up and arrest Rickard so I can get on with my day.
Okay, so Haddon says he was out running, heard a shot, found the body, and then called the Enclave. What is Rickard's story?
Another Jedi, huh? Helping that Twi'lek investigate, no doubt. He seems stumped. I'm Rickard Lusoff. Maybe you can figure this out and let me get out of
Tell me your side of the
Well, I
story.
was out hunting Iriaz when I spotted one over here by the bridge. I pull out my rifle and aim at it. I couldn't see it that well, mind you, because the damn sun was in my eyes. So I shoot it and it drops. I walk over here and find Handon standing over Calder's body. So why don't you get this whole farce over with and send that whiner Handon to the prison he belongs in?
Kind of sounds to me like you shot him by accident. Based on the information we have right now. Let's take a look at the body. Shot from behind with a blaster. Let's discuss the murder. If we look at each piece, we will solve the puzzle. Handon said that he was nearby and heard the shot and ran over, only to find him already dead. He said Ricard came out of the shadow of the rocks holding a blaster in his hand. Ricard says he was hunting areas, saw one through the glare of the sun, and shot at it. Actually, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's possible that Ricard may have shot Calder accidentally and Handon might have fought the body, but it seems very unlikely. It's more likely that at least one of them is lying. Obviously, one of them is not telling us something, but where's the truth? Well, Ricard is lying. Because we already know that the sun wasn't out this morning and there were thunderstorms. So Ricard was lying. It was cloudy, there was no sun glare. You seem to have cut him in the lie. It seems correct. I was assuming you would help me. The lie doesn't prove Ricard is guilty, but I think you have taken a first step in unraveling this mystery. Proceed on to the next point. We need to find motive for the killing. Maybe you should talk to the men about the relationship with the victim. Anything else you need, I'll stay here. Okay, so, what do you
want to know?
How'd you know the victim?
Yeah, I knew him. Hell, we've known each other for a good long time. Doesn't mean I really have to have liked the slimeball. Maybe I shouldn't be so hard on him. Especially now that he's dead. We actually got along pretty well most of the time. We just had our differences. We were actually business partners. We were involved in some orbit-to-ground transport operations for Aerotech. Can I leave now? I should probably be the one to give the news to his wife.
Why would you be the one? You just said you didn't really like each other all that much. Let me ask you something else. Why were you out here again?
I told you already, didn't I? Was hunting some Iriaz. Haven't seen many in the area recently, what with those Cath hounds acting up. But they're still around. Was in my blind a little south of here when I spotted one, like I said before. I shot, pow! Now I don't have nothing to...
Let's ask you something else. Why would anybody want to kill him?
You Jedi are so predictable. Always seeing some greater purpose behind everything, when the simple answer is usually the right one. Can't you see that it must have been Handon? I found him standing over the damned body. I don't know why this is causing you so much trouble. You almost seem as lost as this Baluk guy.
You know, I'm trying to establish motive, asshole.
So,
it's the way this
what
works. So Baluk earlier said you were limping. Are you hurt?
Well, I kind of sprained my ankle running through the bush before I found the body, but it's nothing that serious.
Sprained your ankle, huh? Okay.
Right.
That's all I got for now. Let's talk to Handon.
How can I be of further assistance?
Do you know the victim?
I know him a little bit, but I was not any sort of great friend to him or anything. I never really associated with him that much. In truth, I didn't really want to. He had a reputation. Very inconsiderate of family, I heard. But merely having heard unkind things about someone wouldn't make me want to kill him.
No one's saying you killed him yet.
I'm sorry, I'm getting a bit agitated. Why must we remain here? Can't you see that Rickard must have shot him?
Let me ask you
How can
something
I be
else.
of further assistance?
Are you injured? You're holding your side.
Injured? No, of course not. Why would I have been? Fit as a bantha. I run. I don't know if I mentioned that. How can I be of further assistance?
Let's see, why were you
I
out
was
here
taking
again?
my daily constitutional. I just happened to be...
Do you often run around planes?
Yes, quite often. I generally prefer running to anything else. Can't stand speeders. A healthy body will breed a healthy mind, as I always say. Of course.
Okay.
Of course. Listen, if you need anything...
Let me discuss it with you again. Hendon told me he barely knew the victim. On the other hand, Rickard and the victim were business partners. According to Rickard, they got along quite well. On the surface, neither man seems to have a motive for Calder. Hendon seems like he's pretending like he doesn't know that guy. Nah, it's not giving me a whole lot of options, so let's see what Rickard has to say. Nothing. I'm stumped for the second. Yeah, let's see what the droid here has to say about all this.
Other information?
So what do you know about Calder and Hendon?
The Southwood Speeder rental business has records that over the past several weeks, a speeder had been rented by Mr. Nettic and Mr. Gold. Is there any other information you need?
So Hendon said he barely knew him, but they rented a speeder together. What about Calder and Rickard?
According to the municipal authorities near the Gowing spaceport, there had been news of violent drunken activity in a cantina attached to the port. Apparently, a Mr. R. Lusov was making accusations at a Mr. C. Nettic about cheating him in a business deal. Jedi Tuka was dispatched to the scene and restored order. Is there any other information you need?
Well, so they're both lying. Because Hendon's saying that he barely knows the guy, but they rented a speeder together. And then Rickard's saying they got along great, but they actually got into a big public fight. Okay. Alright, I'll come back later. Can I just accuse them of lying to their face? Yeah. You knew Calder better than you want to admit. You rented a speeder with him.
But I realize this must seem like a motive to you, but I assure
really
you
motive.
it isn't. I dislike Calder, true. I would punch his face in given the opportunity, but I would not kill him.
Why don't you like him?
My wife was cheating on me with him.
What?
I slept in my own bed while I was in the next room.
What?
But
that's pretty
much as
ballsy.
I may hate him for that, I could not kill him. It may have been my own fault for driving my wife away. I must try not to take the law into my own hands. I was just out running, trying to clear my head for the divorce proceedings, not stalking him to kill him. Running is not a crime.
I never said anything about stalking him to kill him.
Of course.
Funny you should bring that up.
So, what do you want to know?
What about you? Yeah, you thought Calder was cheating.
Now, I don't love Calder, but we go back a long way. We run a suborbital shipping and transport company out of Garang Spaceport. We've been partners in that business for well over 20 years, and we've been doing just fine the way we are.
There was bad blood between you.
Right.
Nope, that's all you got to say? Okay. Alright. Okay, well, we know Hendon for sure is lying. Because he knew his wife was cheating on him. Certainly is a motive for murder. This case is taking shape, however, we must jump to any quick conclusions. Perhaps we should now focus on the murder weapon itself. Might want to send you information to the witnesses. An information droid can provide you about the blaster found near the body. Okay.
Is there any other information you need?
Tell me about the weapon.
We cannot get any more specific analysis from that sample, other than the fact it did not belong to Calder. Is there any other information you need?
So no, it didn't belong to Calder.
Very.
Well, we know... We know that Rickard here had a gun on him. Because he claims to have been out finding areas. And then Handon didn't have a gun. So what makes more sense? Him carrying 2 guns or each of them having a gun?
That blaster? Never seen it before. Calder himself had a preference for Echani weaponry. He had this one really nice light blaster rifle that he always used. I always wished I could get myself a rifle like the one he had. That blaster ain't it, though. Calder only had the one rifle, too, so he either must have borrowed that, or it's someone else's. Right.
Okay. I mean, there's not really any reason to not believe him.
How can I be of further assistance?
What do you know about the weapon?
That blaster was stolen from my house last week. I never knew what happened to it.
Really?
I hardly have enough money to afford a single blaster, let alone another. I can't tell you how important it is to have a weapon on hand with all these ravenous calf hounds around. Even an Iriaz can take a man down if it gets in the mood. Every settler has a weapon. It's our most prized possession. I would most appreciate it if I could have that back after you determine that Rickard is the killer. How can I be of further assistance?
So he's claiming that Calder stole the gun from him now?
Of course, of course. Listen, if you need anything, I shall...
Or that Rickard stole the gun from him in order to frame him.
Is there any other information you need?
Is there a report of Handon's blaster being stolen?
I am sorry, but I seem to be failing you. I have searched and searched, but I cannot seem to come up with anything at all. I thought to find the record of the missing weapon report Mr. Gould filed with the authorities, but there does not seem to be one. Is there any other information you need?
Okay, so he didn't fill out a
Very well.
Missing a stolen weapon request.
How can I be of further assistance? Of course.
Nothing to say to him, basically. Yeah, he seems to have lied about it being stolen. So he caught him on the lie. Interesting, but I think we may be one final piece of the puzzle. There's a blood sample on the weapon that has been sent back for analysis. Perhaps you should inquire about the information found on it. Yeah, okay. So what about the blood that was on the weapon?
I have just received back an analysis of a sample of the blood found on the weapon. It had been sent back to the Enclave just before you arrived. The blood on the weapon is definitely not Calder's. Unfortunately, there was a bacterial contaminant in the sample that had been taken back to the laboratory, and it had become degraded. We cannot get any more specific analysis from that sample other than the fact it did not belong to Calder. Is there any other information you need?
Okay.
Very well.
So it's not Calder's blood. Well, we know Handon was holding his side, and Rickard was holding his... was limping. So maybe we should make them take their clothes off? Let's discuss the murder. So the blood did not belong to the victim. So it must have belonged to one of the suspects, but which one? I feel like it's more likely that he got shot in the side than he got shot in the ankle. So we're gonna accuse Handon. Yeah, because he's clutching at his side. Handon has been moving oddly since I arrived. Perhaps we should examine him a little more closely.
Hey, what are you doing?
So Handon got shot in the side. Handon killed Kaldor for having an affair with his wife. Rickard was out hunting and accidentally shot Handon after he had killed Kaldor. Nah, they're both guilty. Bold conclusion, one most would not arrive at, but we're not like most people. I'd like to know how you came to this conclusion. We know Kaldor was having an affair with Handon's life, but what possible motive could Rickard have? So he thought... We know Rickard thought that Kaldor was cheating him. So both men had a reason. It's the theory. Both men knew Kaldor would be out here and each plotted to kill him. Handon found him first and shot him because of the affair. And then shortly after Rickard arrived and he saw Handon thinking it was Kaldor, so he shot him in retaliation for the credits that Kaldor had cheated him out of. Handon would have dropped his blaster, which was covered in his own blood. He probably thought Rickard was going to kill him, so he called us, hoping he could convince it was Rickard.
Damn both of you.
The culpability of both is evident. Rickard Usoff can be charged with aggravated assault and attempted murder of Handon Gold. Place you both under arrest. Jedi Order. Scrutiny to holding facilities in the Jedi Enclave. You've done well, as obvious you have been studying your lessons carefully. Yay, T3's happy. Thanks, T3. Okay, so we win. Alright, so what we're gonna do right now is, I've been streaming for about an hour and 45 minutes or so I'm gonna take a short break. I'm gonna run to the bathroom and get a glass of water and take care of a couple other things. But I'll be back in 5 minutes or so. Shouldn't take too long. Alright everybody, I'm back. How's it going walking drunk? I should probably walk through as my character. Let's go ahead and level up. I was putting some points in repair. I think I'm going to keep doing that for now. Because once again, if I'm going to be bringing T3 along with me... Oh shoot, I have 2 new powers. Again, all the light side things are restricted by armor. So I'd have to not use armor, basically, in order to use them. Droid is not. Stasis, but stasis field is, but stasis itself is not. Let's do that. Let's hit stun. Tasks of the day. It's Saturday. What tasks? Oh, look, there's some more Mandalorians and stuff over here. Let's take out these cath hands first. What? Oh. Oh, what are you doing? T3! Bad idea, T3. You didn't do this, T3. I don't know why you started attacking them without me. Look at all these points he has, though. Let's go ahead and put more into dexterity. We can see he's got computer use demolitions. Oh, his demolitions is low, though. And it's a cross-class skill. So maybe I should still be putting demolitions into my own ability. Part of the reason I'm starting to put repair... Okay. I'm putting my points into repair because it'll help me unlock specific stuff. Let's give them that. +1 attack bonus with blaster pistols. I did not have a lot of points on this guy. I had to level him up a lot. See, we're still not done. I'll hit him in a second once we're actually done with this round of combat, at least. Oh. Well, some of us don't have the benefit of a job right now. Okay, that backpack is not remains. I wanted to kill this guy before I forget about it. I really need you guys to move. This tiny little pathway, and you're blocking my way out. Okay, let's make sure I picked up everything from those guys. And then we can head over towards the Sandral estate. Which actually is not going to be what happens. But we'll get there eventually. I need this map. Come on, map. There you go. This is a bunch of cath hounds here. What's going on? Oh my gosh! Droid getting attacked by hands over here. We'll come back for him. Figure out what why the heck?
Not this again!
Well, wasn't... Oh no! Jolie is dead! I'm actually extremely disappointed. I was explicitly told the world was going to end today. and it has not yet ended. I guess there's still 2 hours left. But, it's very disappointing. There's like a cave over here. Let's figure out what this droid
Thank you for
has
saving
going
me,
on.
Master Jedi. I am C842, a personal assistant droid.
See, if the world ends today, I can get away with not having a job. Okay, you're a personal assistant droid.
As I said, I am C842, a personal assistant droid. Although in recent months, the assistance I render seems to have taken on a disproportionate significance.
Are you Elise's droid?
Did she send you to find me? Please do not tell her you saw me.
Are you running away from her?
Yes, but I have my reasons. I'm afraid my owner became a bit too attached to me. Obsessed, even. She tried to treat me as her dead husband. It was not healthy for her.
Is she crazy?
She
She's
is
so
obsessed.
crazy.
She rarely sees other people and appears to be fixated on me as her husband. She was becoming more and more insular. I thought it best that I leave. She may meet other real people this way. In fact, that was the reason I came here and sought out those cat hounds.
Are you suicidal?
I think it would be best if I were no longer a factor. She would meet new people, living people. Please, will you destroy me?
No. Go back to her.
But why?
Look, dude, like... I don't even know where to start. You're trying to kill yourself because you think somebody else will get out more? No.
You're right. How could I be so selfish? I must not think only
Nah,
of
bro.
myself, but of how it affects her. She must be frantic, and if she lost me, she'd be devastated. I must return then. It is my duty.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, you're a robot. Go back to work. I don't know if you're talking about me or the robot. Kinrath. Oh, so we were told there were caves on this planet that have lightsaber crystals in it. And we fought a bunch of these Kinrath on Kashyyyk. They're here as well, interestingly enough. Oh, Jolie's still messed up. We should...
Yes?
Let's go ahead and level these guys up. He only gets 1 skill point per level. Worthless.
Sure.
I don't know what to do with this. +3 to computer use, security, repair. Considering that's what we are keeping him around for.
Yes?
Yes? That was all the levels.
What?
Let's go ahead and put that heal. Well, here we go. Here's some crystal caves. Oh, Jolie. Oh my gosh. Jolie's not wasting any time. There's a lot of enemies in here. 5 Kinrath. Okay, well, Julie, maybe don't run in here. Without us falling around. Kinrath eggs, huh? These fragile eggs could be easily destroyed, snuffing out the innocent life within. Well, I mean, they're not really innocent. They are, little demon creatures. And they should have crystals inside, and I'm not getting dark side points for it. So, there's really no reason not to destroy them all. They'll one day grow up and kill some Jedi somewhere. God wills it. Oops. So I'm getting all kinds of crystals in here. There's a body in here as well. Some more stuff over there. So you're getting a lot of crystals in here. Some more Kinrath eggs. Okay. Crystal formation. Okay, so we just picked up a lot of crystals, I think. Look at these new items. Vibro Double Blade, Blue Crystal, Bondar Crystal, Green Crystal, Red Crystal. Wow, 11 red crystals. Those must have been inside the eggs, I guess? Rubat, yellow. Okay. So we'll have plenty of stuff to upgrade our lightsabers. Once we get back to the ship. Then once we're done here, we'll have to decide where we want to go next. Since we've already finished up Kashyyyk. This guy's back. So that leaves Tatooine, Manon, and Korriban, which is the Sith home planet. Manon is a water planet. And Tatooine is from Star Wars. That's where Luke is from, and see, I'm kind of open for these guys. Normally I'd have to worry a little bit more, but since I went and ran off and got Jolie, we had a hard time there. And then now we're having an easy time back here. And he hasn't really benefited us that much. I mean, it's nice having someone else that knows how to use a lightsaber, but we haven't had any extra dialogue or anything as a result of him. So maybe we didn't need to speed through here. Which also led to us kind of speeding through Kashyyyk a little bit.
Let's see what you got.
That's not, that one's white. Damn, Julie. Can I stun it? There One ugly mother. Oh, you don't have heal yet? Jeez, Julie. Okay, so this is the Sandrel estate. There's a door on this side. Let's go ahead and wander around it. Like we did at the Matali estate. And, oh, we can't go any further over here. There's a door over here. There's the second entrance. They have a droid outside here. Let's show off the map here. Let's see what's on this side. Nothing. Whole lot of nothing. Okay, let's see what you've got to say, droid.
This is private property. By what authority are you trespassing on this estate?
I'm here for the Jedi.
The Council. If you are here because of Shen Matale's disappearance, you are wasting your time. The Sandals are not involved. This is nothing but a Matale witch hunt.
Come on. I'm not in league with the Matales. I come to spur to Nurik.
Nurik left orders he was not to be disturbed, but given the circumstances, I will make an exception. Go into the main hall. Nurik will meet with you there.
Yeah. Damn right. I'm a Jedi. Better make time for me.
I have been informed by my protocol droid that you wish to speak to me.
Oops. Well, let's hold off on bringing up that his son is dead. What do you have to say about Shin Matali? Yeah, I'm here on behalf of the Council. I'm just investigating the disappearance of Shin Matali.
I brought my family here to find peace and safety, not to be harassed and treated like common criminals. Your council has no authority here, and I respectfully ask you to leave this property at once. I trust you will show yourself out. If not, my security droids will
just
be
like
sure
that,
to
huh?
deal with you.
You're not gonna talk to me at all. Hello.
You are here from the Council, are you not? Looking for Shen Matale?
That's what I said. Who are you?
My name is Rahasia. Nurik is my father. He has not been himself since Cass has disappeared. He is mad with grief, and he is convinced the Matales are responsible. He's not thinking rationally.
Maybe I should have mentioned to him that I found Cassis's body. What does this have to do with Shen?
My father is a good man. When my mother died, he raised me and my brother by himself. He loves his children, and we love him. I just don't want you to judge him too harshly.
What do you mean, too harshly? What has your father done?
You must understand that father has been under a terrible strain. I have no wish to disobey him, but there are matters where even my father's authority is not absolute.
Yeah.
My father has kidnapped Shen Matale. He is holding him prisoner here in the compound. He feels this is a way to get back at the Matales, a way to get even for the disappearance of my brother Cassus. Since Cassus went missing, my father has become unstable. He no longer even cares if the Matales are responsible for what happened to Cassus. I am afraid my father will simply kill Shen out of a mad, misguided lust for vengeance.
Okay, why are you telling me?
Shen is an innocent victim in all this. My father is not a bad man, but his grief has driven him to madness. He must be stopped. Please, find Shen and rescue him before my father does something he will regret forever. I would take you to the prison, but I cannot let my father see me with you. Take this key. It will open an unguarded door at the rear of the estate. You and Shen can make your escape through there. There are many security droids guarding the halls. Please hurry. You are Shen's only hope.
Okay, so what on earth is actually going on?
Alan Matale and my father have had problems ever since they settled on this world. To hear my father tell it, Alan is a brute and a bully, but a rich one. He feels his credits give him the right to step all over normal people. My father stands up to Alan because no one else will. But now he thinks Alan has taken my brother Cassus and has imprisoned Shen as revenge. Please find Shen and free him. You are my only hope.
No, Obi-Wan is your only hope.
Find Shen and rescue him. There are many security...
Yeah, why do you care about Shen?
Shen and I, we have been taught by our families to hate each other, just for being related to our fathers. But I met Shen alone one day in the city, away from his father. And Shen was so charming, so sweet. He didn't care at all that I was a Sandral. He just accepted me for who I was, with no reservations. We talked and met again over months and fell in love. My brother Cassus met him too, and they were beginning to become friends. But then this whole mess had to happen. Please find Shen and free him. You are my only hope.
Yeah, we're, I guess, just not gonna tell you about what we know about Cassus. Okay, so we can't get through here.
Has nothing more to...
Yeah, my investigation's not yet complete.
My orders are clear. Please leave me.
You know,
Eureka.
Cassus Sandral is dead.
Cassus is dead? Then it is as we feared. I will be sure Nurik is given this news. Though it will break, my orders are clear. Please leave.
Okay, so we just don't care. We just don't give a damn, huh? Son's dead, you're not gonna call him back out here to, like, let him know? Why is everybody in this entire galaxy such a gigantic douche? Okay, well, she gave me a card to come in on this side. And there's a droid immediately inside. Well, so I have enough demolitions to do that still. Security room, huh? Oh. A number of bad guys in here. Cool, okay. Well, let's... Okay, robot. Let's use this computer. 0 to slice. North hallway? There's a mine out there. Is that... Yeah, that's the hallway we came in on. That'd be a waste. South hallway. I see one droid back there. Computer room, that's where we are. No, I'm not going to overload the room I'm in. Ooh, there's several enemies in there. Overload the computer power conduit. Take that. Yeah, they're, these two are apparently a modern day Romeo and Juliet. Or, oh, that's not even true, because this takes place in a long time ago. Let's overload that power conduit too. So this takes Star Wars in general takes place a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. And this takes place 2,000 years before that. So
no problem. Got it.
Hi, Julie. You mind?
No problem. Got it.
Okay. Well, let's go through here. Oh, I didn't even loot this footlocker. Just a couple of parts. Hello, robots. That was easy.
No problem. Got it.
Security control room. Yep, we blew up everything that was in here. So I don't think there's gonna be anything. And we blew up these guys too.
Please, find Shen and rescue him before my father does something he will regret forever. I would take you to the prison, but I cannot let my father see me with you. There are many security droids guard.
Yeah, well, I'll find him, but first let me steal everything you own. Oh, there's some baddies in here. How did I miss them? There must not have been a security camera in here. Prison key. So that then sets up nothing. It's kind of interesting we didn't like stumble on. Yep, there's the holding cell. We didn't stumble across the dad. My build is I'm kind of doing something a little bit trippy. I haven't played this game in forever, so I'm kind of just making it up as I go along. But I started off as a scoundrel, and then switched to Jedi Consular. So all of my skills are class skills, but I only get 2 points per level now. So that kind of sucks. Alright.
No problem.
Who are you? What do you want with me?
It's Shen.
Are you working for my father?
I'm here to rescue you.
Rescue me? No. I won't leave. It's too dangerous.
I'll protect you.
It's not my own safety I'm concerned about. I'm worried about the fate of Nurik's daughter, Rahasia. She's been trying to convince her father to release me ever since I was captured. If I escape, Nurik will think Rahasia is to blame. Nurik is insane with grief over the loss of his son, Cassus. If I leave with you, it is Rahasia who will suffer. I cannot allow that.
Alright. What do I gotta do here?
If you can convince Rahasia to escape with us, I will accompany you. Though I do not know if she'd be willing to turn her back on her home and family. Who could imagine a Sandral doing such a thing for the sake of a Matali? But if she will not go, then I too shall stay. I would rather face my own death than have her face her father's wrath because I escaped.
Why do you care about her?
I was taught to hate the Sandrals, to think of them as evil and subhuman. From the moment I saw Rahasia one day in the city, I knew that my father was wrong. She was like an angel, all white silks and perfume, seeming to float above the crowds. I don't know what else I could have done but fall in love with her. For months I wooed her and tried to win her heart. I believe I have succeeded, but now this has happened. Our families are always coming between us one way or another. Please find her and convince her to run away with me.
That always turns out well.
Who could have... I would... My father thinks the Sandrals are thieves and liars who followed him here to Dantooine just to steal what he has earned for himself. My father is an egotist and can be violent at times, but I think he still cares for me. Rahasia's father seems to be falling into the same pattern as mine. They're both too unreasonable to be talked to about the other. I think the only hope Rahasia and I will ever have is if we can escape both of them. Please, find Rahasia and speak to her. Get her to flee this place with me.
Okay. Well, I already know where she is.
What are you doing here? Have you found Shen yet?
Yes! He won't leave without you.
Shen can be so stubborn sometimes. If one of the security droids sees me wandering the halls, Father will get suspicious. I can't risk it. I know Shen would rather die than leave me here alone to face the wrath of my father. Tell Shen I will meet you outside the gates. I will wait as long as I can, but you must hurry.
Okay. So now we have to go back over here to Shen.
You're back. Have you spoken to Rahasia?
Yes, let's go.
She's not just telling me what I want to hear, but I will have to take that chance. Hurry then, we must not keep Rahasia waiting.
Hey, it worked
Shen,
me out of there.
You're safe.
Rahasia! Well, thank goodness you managed to escape.
It was all thanks to this kind Jedi that we managed to get this far at all. I thank you, Jedi, for all that you have done for us.
Rahasia is kind of a strange name there. It was no problem.
No, we know that you must have gone to great personal risk to get us out of the Sandral estate undetected.
Yeah, no rewards necessary.
We can...
I'm already rich.
There you are, Shen.
Father!
Mr. Matale.
Rahasia!
Father!
Mr. Sandral!
Nurik! Alan!
Why?
I knew this was all your doing.
Why?
I knew you had captured my son.
You had taken my Cassus from me long before that. You started it.
I don't want to
already
hear any of
told
your
you.
excuses. Now I will get revenge for your transgressions.
Just get over it.
Please listen to him, Father.
Why should I listen to the Jedi? All you want is to remain with that Sandral harlot.
My daughter is not a harlot, Matale dog!
Why don't you try listening to your kids?
Our children don't know enough of what's good for them to make a reasonable decision.
It's better to let older, wiser heads like ours make the decision.
Rahasia and I don't want you to make decisions for us. We want to live alone away from you.
You insolent boy! If you want to live alone, then so be it. I disown you. Never set foot in my house again.
Dick move, buddy.
I don't care. Rahasia and I will live on our own if you won't accept us.
You will do no such thing. I am your father, and I order you to come back with me.
No, Father, I won't.
Rahasia, you will not leave with this Matale boy.
I am, Father, and you can't stop me. We're leaving for the Enclave.
You foolish girl.
Try not being selfish.
You think to make us stand here, then?
You expect us to just let them leave? Droids, stop them!
You will not turn your droids on my daughter. Droids, don't let them take Rahasia.
We appear to be at an impasse then. And they got away.
It is your fault, darling. You were always too violent for your own good.
Me? You were the one who rushed out here with war droids.
Yeah, shut up. Calm
I
the
will
F
not
down.
rest until I have my Shen back. The Council will hear of the troubles you caused, Jedi.
Indeed they shall.
Something tells me they're gonna side with me, you giant tools. So let's look at our journal. Pestala Juhani, Jolie, Candaris, Mission's brother, Jino Haradan, Han Manon, Mandalorian Raiders. Perhaps you have not yet met our most powerful members. Okay, so let's... So you might have noticed we've been all over the world. There's actually, let's go this way. We still haven't killed the toughest of the Mandalorian raiders. But I know where they're gonna be. So we're gonna go back over this way. And so yeah, I'm not gonna be doing, I'm gonna be equipping armor and not doing anything. See, there's enemies back over here again. We're not going to be doing any force powers that require... that require Jedi robes. Hello.
So this is the meddler. You have caused us far too much trouble for a mere Jedi. I will add your head to those of the other Jedi I have killed and take yet another lightsaber for my own. Now you will know why the Mandalorians are feared.
I mean, I don't feel like that's necessary.
See what you've got.
Damn, Jolie. Oh, he's got a couple lightsabers on him. Double check and make sure it didn't refill his backpack. Okay. Well, I think...
What? Yes?
I think that was the last of the Mandalorians here. Mandalorian Raiders. John would like to hear this and should reward you as well. Okay, so that's the last of the Mandalorians on this planet. Could put more points in intelligence and get even more points to distribute there. Maybe I'll do that next time. It has me put points in here. Because yeah, that way I could get up... Maybe try to get both demolitions and awareness up. Since I'm kind of having to abandon that on my main character. Here, we'll give him this one, this perk, because it gives him a bonus to demolitions and stealth, I don't care as much about the stealth, but
Yes?
Yes?
the demolitions is going to be nice. You start off with such high dexterity for a Jedi. So I'm only getting 1 point with him, too. It's Force Focus, Master Sense. Let's give you 2 weapon fighting. Let's give you that heal.
Yes?
Okay. And then we can go back. We found that droid, the crazy lady's droid, and sent him back to her. So let's see if he made it. Bop, bop, bop. Big open fields here. Like I said, they kind of wasted a lot of open space in this game. Even by their limitations at the time, I'd be surprised if you couldn't have, you know, made this whole area only 2 areas instead of 4. Look at her. Got your droid back?
Thank you. I don't know what I would have done if I had lost him. It's just so great to have him back. We're just gonna go right home, right now, and celebrate. Aren't you my lovely little droid? Don't worry. I'm gonna hug you and oil you and care for you and make sure you never, ever get away again.
Crazy lady. Yeah, nothing. I wish it gave you a little bit more options there to like try to convince her to stop being so crazy.
Yet?
Yeah, I killed him.
Thank you, young master. My daughter can now, I think, rest in peace. Here is the reward I promised you.
Thank you, John.
Again, I thank you. I will be sure.
1,000 credits. What are we at credits-wise? 16,000. So let's see.
Shen and Rahasia have been welcomed here in the compound for as long as they wish to stay. I am glad that your help enabled them to remain together.
Yep, I'm pretty awesome.
It is relaxing to come outside and enjoy the fresh air once in a while. It relieves stress.
Elise apparently lives in here with her droid?
Rahasia and I cannot thank you enough for what you've done for us. Now we will finally have a place to share our love, without fear of reprisals from our families.
Yeah, your families kind of suck. Just glad I could help you out.
Rahasia and I can spend the rest of our lives together. All thanks to you.
I am sorry we have nothing of value to give you as a reward. Our families have cut us off completely. Had the council not taken us in, we would be foraging in the wilderness to survive.
Any wedding plans?
We are waiting before the ceremony. Hopefully in time our fathers will agree to attend. If not, we plan to have a small, simple ceremony. You will be invited, of course.
Oh, that's awesome. Can I be your best man?
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I don't know what I would have done if I'd lost him. Oh, it's just so good to have him back. We're just gonna go. Don't worry.
Please.
Please kill me. Oh, I agree. Oh, she's leaving again. I thought the whole reason she came in here is that it was her home. Alright, so I think now we're done with this planet. See, we got a mission on Manon. We got a couple different things on Manon, actually, because Jolie... Jolie has a mission there, too. And then that Gino Harger,
Shen Matale and Rahesia Sandral have fled their feuding families and asked for sanctuary here in the Enclave. The Council has granted this request. I have heard that it was by your actions that they managed to escape, and I must congratulate you for avoiding a potentially dangerous situation.
Yep.
May the Force be...
Shen and Rahesia have been granted asylum here. It is the way of the Jedi to provide help to those in...
Okay,
Rahesia Sandral and Shen Matale, their love for each other was being denied by overly possessive parents. And we learned that while it is regrettable that the fences between the...
Y'all say pretty much the same
Greetings,
thing.
young Pado. As you...
You haven't changed. Okay. Boom. Some fancy dancing. Got my glow rods for my rave. I'm just realizing there's a YouTuber YouTube group, I guess, named Oral Knots that do a Jedi that basically are doing like an alternate cut of the Star Wars movies. And they did an announcement trailer for the 6th part. I don't know if it's necessarily the last part, but I haven't seen how they do anything about that. So Sigil, Bondar, damn it, next door. Okay. And then this is these are the ones that Jolie here has equipped. Let's put the Rubat crystals in there. And then we can put these unused ones, we can fill them with red. Since we got so many red lightsaber crystals. Switch this to a green. So that'll help us keep a little bit better track, even though that's double-bladed. But now we got one of each color. And we didn't ever fill up... Did we? Yeah, we did. Let's double check and make sure nobody else has anything interesting to say.
I've been thinking about Lena and what she said about Griff. You know, how he was always blaming other people for his problems. There might be something to what she said.
You believe her now?
No, of course not. Not really. But what if it was his idea to leave me behind? I'm not saying Griff would just abandon me, but maybe he did want to leave me behind. Just temporarily, you know? He might have done that if he planned on coming back later, but things don't usually work out for Griff the way he planned, you know? And that's when he'd get in trouble. He was always borrowing money he could never pay back. He might have been trying to skip out on his debts when he left Harris. He would have to leave his little sister behind so it would look like he was coming back. Yeah, well, no, not exactly. Look, all I'm trying to say is that the more I think back, the more I realize I might be idolizing my brother a bit, not seeing all his faults. I still want to find him. I need to see him again. It's just that I'm not sure how I'll react when I do.
Your brother's a prick. Yeah, quick kick in the groin.
Maybe. We'll see. I don't want to judge him yet. Maybe Lena was lying. Or maybe she wasn't. All I know is I'd like to speak to Griff myself. If we have time, I'd like to go talk to the Zerker Corp rep on Tatooine and see what he has to say about where my brother is now.
So she wants to go to Tatooine.
Hey there. What?
Okay, so
Yeah,
it's like
what
we'll
do you
take
want?
a vote kind of thing.
I think I'll tell you a bit about the recent war we had with the Republic. That might be more familiar to you. The one where Jedi Revan beat my people. We started by conquering worlds outside the Republic. We did it quietly so the Republic wouldn't really know what was going on until it was too late. When we finally did hit the Republic worlds, they had no idea we were coming. We came in through 3 invasion corridors in adjacent sectors. Anyone who put up a fight, or wouldn't fight, was crushed. We raised whole worlds trying to provoke the Republic into fighting us. I don't particularly enjoy wiping out worlds for its own sake, but the cowardly tactics the Republic defenders used left us little choice.
Cowardly, huh? What does that mean?
Hiding in the homes of civilians, using families as shields, thinking we would not use appropriate force on their bases inside major cities. They underestimated our resolve, and what measures are acceptable in war. Those who cannot defend themselves should not be around those who can in battle. If annihilating a city is the kind of power it takes to overwhelm a Republic shield device, then that's what we did. Necessary force to destroy all opposition.
Try not to seem too happy about it.
I have no time or patience for cowards. They deserve to be hunted down and exterminated like vermin.
Jesus,
there was
dude.
no honor in wiping them out like rats. But some of your forces did redeem the Republic in our eyes. Especially later.
What do you mean later?
Later, when Revan had joined the war. But we'll get back to that. We've wasted too much time already. Is there something else you want to know?
Not
your
for now.
choice.
Crazy
Yeah,
man.
what do you want? Hey, don't... There You're...
That did give me a journal, Candrass. If you talk to him later, he might turn you how he turned the tide. How Revan turned the tide, that is. Oh, Sasha's gone. What's up, Julie?
Got something on your mind?
Yeah, you mentioned something about your adventuring days.
Did I say that? Strange the tricks memory plays on you when you get older.
So you weren't an adventurer.
Didn't I say that my past was my affair? You don't see me poking and prodding you with questions, do you?
Yeah. You're not used to company. Stop being an old coot.
I might be, but a mouthy young thing like yourself shouldn't get to call me an old coot, damn it. And besides, you don't really want to hear about me. We're talking ancient history. Probably before you were born. History bores kids. Proven fact.
Not me. No, yeah. Old people love to talk about history.
Oh, fine, fine. Have it your way. Just don't cry about it later. Yes, I was an adventurer. Happy now? I wasn't even done with my Jedi training back then. I had a full head of hair and an eagerness to see absolutely everything. Sound familiar? The Council was never happy with willful, brash Jolie Bindo, you see. Even less so when I began my smuggling career.
Smuggler.
Don't look at me like that, damn it. I wasn't always the wrinkled coot I am now, you know. I can still fight, too. So wipe off that smirk I see there. At the time, the Yukata system was interdicted by its own king. He preferred to keep his people starving and poor. All the better to oppress them. The Senate was trying to negotiate a peace, but they were getting nowhere as usual. I decided I wasn't going to wait. I found myself a ship and a partner, and we began smuggling food and supplies to the Yukata citizenry through the blockade.
Sounds dangerous.
Oh, it was. I was a half-decent pilot in those days. And with the Force guiding me, we made it through some tough spots nobody else would have.
And you were a smuggler and a pilot.
Pilot, smuggler, several other things too. Or did you suppose I was always a crotchety hermit?
So where did you get the credits?
Well, we didn't buy all the equipment per se. Some were happy to donate goods. Some we just knew had more than they could use.
So you stole it.
Stole is such a harsh word. They would have donated those goods readily enough if they were compassionate. I considered it a tax on the greedy. We only got caught once.
Clever
A lone
euphemisms.
Yukatish frigate shot us down and forced a crash landing. I thought the Force had abandoned me, as I remember.
What happened?
Well, as it happens, getting shot down turned out to be very fortunate. That day was the day
The day what?
Well, that was the day I met my wife.
What? You're married.
You know another way to get a wife? But yes, that's when I met her. If it's all the same to you, I'd prefer to stop talking now. My mouth is starting to draw flies.
My mouth is starting to draw flies.
Got something on your mind?
So we didn't really talk much about Sunray. How do you know him?
What? You think because I'm a hermit, I've always been a hermit? Just because I haven't seen Sunray for 20 years doesn't mean he's not a friend. A man could have changed a lot in that span of time, though. But to become a murderer, I can't see it. That's not the Sunray I knew. He was a good man. Put me up in his home for a year back.
I mean,
after
times
I
do
left the Order.
change.
War hero, too. Or so I hear. I wouldn't mind helping the fellow if we can. I owe it to him. Or you can be a young monkey lizard and ignore me, I guess. Well, I don't expect much these days. Got something on your mind? How many could you ask?
Okay. T3 was a lot more talkative than I remember. He was all like happy and sad and everything like that. Nothing else to say. What about you, Juhani?
Yes. What is it?
Something wrong?
I was remembering Taris.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. I think I am over the worst of it. I apologize again for lashing out at you. It was not your fault. It was a horrible place to have to live. At least in the lower cities where the non-humans tended to get relegated. Living for years in a place with no sun, living off the trash dropped from the upper levels, and the meager pay doing back-breaking labor.
And those ragghouls.
There was always the danger of ragghouls coming up from the sewers, or more mundane predators living and working in the area. My family and I struggled each and every day to make something of our lives. But we could only go so far. Taxes from the corrupt government, more fees from the gangs controlling the streets, and whatever was left paying for what food and medical supplies we could afford.
Was it really that bad?
With no money to spare for any amenities, even the Enclave on Dantooine seems a paradise in comparison. And of course, there was the constant bigotry and hate from the more affluent and human citizens, lording their wealth over us living below. Every once in a while, a rich human would come down through the lower levels with his droid entourage just to see how the wildlife lived, and laughed at the mockeries that were our successes. But
Ooh,
I've come to meet many
you
decent
got a lot of
humans in my
baggage,
travels
lady.
since those days. Indeed, some of the greatest people I have ever met are human.
Such
The
as?
Jedi who encouraged me to join the Order. The one who was with the group going to fight the Mandalorians. She was human. I am sorry. I am getting away from my point. If there even was one. Sometimes,
I curse the day my parents fled to Taris. But then again, if they had not, I would not be where I am today.
What your parents?
Another story for another time. For now, we must continue our own epic. To save the galaxy, if we can. How may I be... What is it?
Tell me more about your past.
Well, I mentioned before that my parents had fled to Taris. Perhaps I can tell you about that.
Sounds good. Yeah, there were no KOTOR on Taris that I saw.
No, there were not. Having fled the birth world of my species, my parents flew as far and wide as they could. And so I was raised alone, knowing of my birthplace only the few stories my parents could tell, and seeing no other member of my species at all.
So why weren't there any on Taris?
It all comes back to wars and fighting. The curse of your race, it seems. In the early days of the Mandalorian War, there had been fighting closer to the Outer Rim worlds.
Near where you come from.
KOTOR was there, yes. My people had a great reputation as warriors, and that appealed to the Mandalore version of honor. They sought to test themselves against us, I think. Test themselves by bombing our world, slaughtering my people while they slept or while they ran.
How did it happen?
They swooped down from space, across the world, firing at anything that moved. They used ships in space to destroy all orbital facilities and bombard the surface. We did resist, and in spite of their violent attack, we did stave them off for quite a while. But in the end, we were doomed.
So the Republic didn't help?
We were not members of the Republic. KOTOR was beyond the edge of the Republic, in the Outer Rim. And besides, they could not have known. Our interstellar communications were the first things the Mandalores hit. All other short-range communicators were jammed. We were on our own. We knew what was coming. We had fought the Mandalorians in the first war against Exar Kun and the Sith. We knew there would be no mercy for us. The most we could do was pack the few of our people who survived onto what few ships remained and send them off into space as fast as they could. Most did not make it.
So you survived.
My parents carried me as a baby with them and were lucky enough to escape. They fled as far as they were able and eventually settled on Taris. They could stand running no further, I think. But Taris was a horrible choice. Dominated by humans, intolerant of other species, it made everyday life unnecessarily hard.
How'd they cope?
My father turned to stimulants. He spent much of his time in local bars and dives. But we are warriors. It runs through our blood. And when he was on stims, he became foolish. He let his warrior nature get the best of him. So he would get intoxicated, and he would fight. And finally, one day, he would die.
How'd he die?
Killed by a man who provoked him into a fight and killed him like an animal. I am sorry. I cannot talk about this any longer right now. How may I be of... What is... I have been thinking much about our journey, and I am grateful and honored that you have accepted me with you. I am not used to such unbiased acceptance from one who is nearly a stranger to me. We KOTOR do not make friends easily, or for long. Even on Dantooine, I remained alone. Not ostracized exactly, but separate.
Yeah. Tell me about your people.
In truth, I have lived in the Republic too long, and I know little. I never met any others of my race other than my parents. But we are not diplomats. We do not deal well with groups. This situation is new to me. It is warming. I feel almost welcome. Needed. You seem to be very decisive when it is required of you. It is reassuring to know that I can count on someone like you.
First one's me. It's It's nice that you hold me in such high regard.
To be accepted so readily, I find it difficult to explain. It is so different from what I'm used to. Just thank you for accepting me. How may I be of... What is it? Of course.
Okay, that's all she's got to say for now. Let's see about Bastila and Karth.
How can I help?
Why did the council send you with you?
Why? I could not accomplish this on my own. I need the aid of others, especially one who is strong in the Force. The bond between us made you a natural choice. Besides, the events on Taris prove that the Force wanted to bring us together for this mission. And there is little left to chance when the Force is involved. Is that not enough for you?
Yeah, if the Force wants us to be together, why do you keep resisting my undeniable charm?
I said we were brought together for our mission, to stop Malak. I hardly think the Force would be pushing us toward a romantic involvement when the fate of the galaxy is at stake. Please try to stay focused. I doubt the Council would approve if they knew we were busy discussing our mutual attraction when we should be saving the galaxy from Malak.
Mutual attraction, huh?
Mutual attraction? I never said... It's just an expression. Whatever our feelings... whatever your feelings, you have to try to ignore them. Don't let this complicate things. Finding the missing pieces of the star maps is our only hope of locating the Star Forge and defeating Malak. The Council explained all this quite clearly.
That's enough reason for you to accept all this?
There were times that I wondered if this is more than just a mission to stop Malak. There were times when I wondered if this was also a way for the Council to test my own abilities.
I get the feeling there's more going on here.
I wondered if the Council wanted to see how I would help and guide you on our quest. I wondered if they were testing me to see if I was ready to become a Jedi Master myself. And then I realized how foolish such thoughts were. As the Council explained, sending a Master in our group would only have drawn unwanted attention from the Sith. The fate of the galaxy is at stake. The Council would not risk it merely to test me. They calculated the risks, and in the end chose the only option available.
I don't know. I'm still not convinced.
You must learn to trust in the wisdom of the Council. Your destiny will come when its appointed time. You mustn't be so impatient.
You're the one that thought it was a big audition for masterhood.
Must you be so frustrating? I admit, I had a moment of foolish pride, but I'm over it. Now I am focused on my true responsibilities. I'm simply trying to help you and complete this mission, and yet you battle me at every turn.
What can I say? It's fun.
Fun? Fun? Driving me insane is your idea of a good time?
Yeah, kinda. Lighten up, I'm only joking.
You are a very odd man. Do you know that? I simply don't know how to deal with you. All I want to do is help you, but you seem determined to drive me mad.
Complain all you want, but I know you'd love it.
I don't know if I should be outraged that you keep joking about serious matters, or if I should be grateful that you can always lighten the mood. Come on, come. Let's move on. There's much to be done. How can I help? Then I said...
What about you, Karth? Why do you want revenge on Saul so badly?
I already told you, he betrayed us all.
It seems more personal than that.
Well, there is more to it. I'm sure you don't want to hear about it.
Kind of, but I asked.
It's just that I don't talk about it very much, okay? I told you about my homeworld, Telos. 4 years ago, Saul led the Sith fleet there and demanded its surrender. The planet refused, and Saul proceeded to devastate its entire surface. Millions died. I had a wife and a son on Telos. I thought they would be safe there, but my task force arrived too late to be of much help. We didn't have enough medical supplies. The colony was burning and the dying were everywhere. I remember holding my wife and screaming for the medics, but they didn't come in time.
I'm sorry, buddy.
Of course not. How could you? I had nothing left after that, really. I devoted myself to the fleet. Hunting Saul was my only purpose. I miss them. And I know killing Saul won't bring them back. And it won't make me happy again, but I have to do it. I don't expect you to understand, but I have to pay him back for what he's done. I have to. It's all I have left.
Alright, tell me about your wife.
She had courage, and she was stubborn. Could never talk her out of anything once she put her mind to it. And she hated it when I signed back onto the fleet at the start of the war. I had planned on leaving soon to join her.
What happened to your son?
His name was Dustle, and I don't know what happened to him. The colony was a complete ruin, and we never found any trace of him. I made inquiries and followed the reports from Telos for years, but I stopped. Anyway, I hope that answers your questions. Let's continue with what we were doing. Yes, what's on your mind? You got it.
Alright, so we're actually going to call it quits there. I've been streaming for 3 hours. Whew, I'm exhausted. We will come back. We do need to decide if I want to hit up Manon, Tatooine, or Korriban next. Yavin isn't much of anything. It's just a little space station that I can kind of go visit at any time. But, so Korriban, Tatooine, Manon. Which of those 3 should I go to next? Korriban, the Sith world, Tatooine, the desert planets from A New Hope, and Manon, which we've not seen, but it is a water world type situation. But okay, if you're watching me on Twitch, go ahead and head on over to YouTube. I'm archiving my stream on my channel over there, which is NegPrimer. I also am doing other Let's Plays where I'm trying to go through my entire video game library on both PC, like Steam, GOG, and all that, and my consoles, over which I get all the free games every month, and so it's a lot. And if you're watching this on YouTube, go over to Twitch. It's NegPrimer is there on there as well. So just subscribe and you should get notifications whenever I go live, which I'm trying to do on a nightly basis, sometime between 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. Western. I realize that's that's kind of a broad category, but I'm not doing this for money or anything, so I'm kind of just doing it when I feel like. If something there changes, I might change that up, but there's no reason to. But yeah, like I said, if you see this before I come back in, probably tomorrow, let me know which of these 3 planets I should go to next, and we will see you then. Thanks for watching.